I learned a long time ago that the most challenging part of coaching isn't giving people stretches, mobilizations, exercise, or diet and lifestyle advice. It's people's resistance to change. Can you guys share what your experiences have been with this regard, and any tips you can share for the listeners that are having a hard time implementing behavioral change strategies that are necessary to heal, to look better, or to feel better?
My big thing is focusing on the little wins and little changes, is because I have people who will come in and they want to radically shift their whole life overnight and just completely flip it and change it. And when they do that, it lasts a week and then they go back to the same old thing. And so it's taking the time to change things little at a time until it literally becomes a habit. And when you take it slower, that gives you time to notice what beliefs are coming up, what resistance is coming up, and you leave that space in your world to be able to look into it and deal with it and figure out where that belief came from.
Yeah.
And then when you celebrate those little wins, a lot of people, in my perspective, look at, I think, successful people and they think that it happened overnight or it happened in this one giant jump, and it didn't. It happened because they showed up over and over and over and over and over again. And so those little wins and focusing on the minor changes.
I think the other thing that's really important that takes me a fair bit of effort to help CHEK professionals get clear on is that, as you know, there's often a long laundry list of things that need to be changed once you complete an evaluation on somebody. So the most important thing is looking at which one change has the biggest knock-on effect regarding all the challenges that they're facing. For example, if someone's sleep deprived, that's affecting every part of their life. So before I'm going to throw supplements at people and give them complex programs with this mobilization, that mobilization, you got to do this at this time, blah, blah, blah. It's really easy to throw the kitchen sink at people because you think you're trying to help them, right? So what I found over the years of watching people, coaching them, seeing what they would do or could do or didn't do is, okay, if I'm going to coach more effectively, I've got to make sure that they do the one most important thing first. And I got to make sure they understand how that change is helping them achieve what it is that they want to achieve instead of just telling them it's what I want them to do. If you implement one change, be it sleep or just take these digestive enzymes or just do this breathing exercise, then they actually know that that's the one thing they're doing different. And then they can really see, when I do my centering breaths each day like Paul or Kirsti or Mickel ask me, I do feel calmer. I don't need as much coffee. I'm not as agitated. My temper isn't so volatile, etc. But when we throw too many things at them, it's hard to tell what's working. And so people may get changes, but because sometimes, people can, it's not unusual for people to have to spend a lot of money because they're having to change their diet. So they're going from commercial to organic food, so the cost goes up. They're, as you guys know, some of these supplements are expensive. I mean, you get someone on digestive enzymes, this specific vitamin combination, this mineral combination, you can end up easily spending $600 a month on supplements. So if they don't have a clear awareness of what's working, even though they're feeling better, they will often talk themselves out of continuing to spend the money, which they wouldn't do if they say, the digestive enzymes definitely do this for me. I definitely sleep better when I take, this magnesium supplement or this C supplement, or I don't have as many colds when I'm using this particular product right here. And so I think everybody starts to learn what is working and why it should stay into the program. But one of the problems that coaches and therapists have is they are often insecure that such simple programs aren't worthy of the expense of the fee that they're charging. And so what they feel obligated to pile shit on and make it look like, look, I'm changing your whole life for you. But in reality, that usually doesn't work very well. So this is where the behavioral change component comes in. A skilled therapist is really a skilled psychologist, because you've got to work with these people to really look at what their habits have been in the past and why they've, made the New Year's resolution to go to the gym 28 times and went for 2 days and then paid for the gym membership for a year but didn't use it and started down this, you know the story as well as anybody can know it. So I think it's very, very important to keep it to something that's manageable so that there's not so much energy, because one of the things that happens to people is if they have too many things to change and it's too much of a departure from their habitual lifestyle, no matter how bad it is, they get what Chip and Dan Heath call in the book switch control fatigue. Oh, I've got to go to bed at this time. I got to get up. I got to go to the gym. I got to drink this water. I got to eat this food. I can't eat that. I got to take that out of my diet. I'm not allowed to have this. And they're looking, they got a long list of things they got to remember. So they just get fatigued. It exhausts the mind. It's like an air traffic controller that's worked too many hours and he no longer has the energy to keep track of all these airplanes and someone ends up dying. In this case, what dies is the program. So I just think that the behavioral component is very, very important. Very commonly when I give lectures, mostly to medical and healthcare professionals, I'll make a point to them. I say, okay, look, there's only 4 doctors you really need to know. And I talk about the 4 doctors. And I say, does anyone disagree with these 4 doctors? So far, nobody said no. I say, okay, how many of you are doing things that are not producing happiness for you in your life, but you keep doing them anyhow, even though you don't have to? Almost every hand in the room goes up. How many of you are eating shit that's bothering your body and causing you vitality problems, sleep problems, etc., sexual performance problems, and you keep doing anyhow? Almost every hand goes up. How many of you are over-exercising or under-exercising and you know it, but you keep doing it anyhow? Almost every hand goes up. How many of you are not getting enough sleep and you know it, but you keep doing it anyhow? Almost every hand goes up. And I go, good. So isn't this interesting? You're all doctors and therapists and you're not doing any better than your patients are. So the question we got to get to now is why? And of course, my workshops are about the why, like CHEK Life Process Alchemy, because that's where I get to the why. These people often don't really know how to go about the change process. So if the listeners are saying, oh, yeah, they're talking about me right now, what are 1 or 2 tips you can give to help them effectively embrace the change process?
It's to be gentle on yourself, understanding that once you bring an awareness to an aspect of your life that needs to change to push you into the optimal person you're supposed to be, understand that it may not happen overnight. And that change is going to come with certain types of resistances that you're going to meet up against. And it's okay to meet those resistances. It's okay to try and maybe fail a few times. Have that compassion for yourself and understand that you're doing the best you can with the resources and the knowledge that you currently have right now to improve your life. And so being gentle on yourself and just wholeheartedness with yourself.
Right.
Yeah. Mine comes down to your why. If it's not a big enough why for you to want to change for, then look at your why.
Which is your dream or your goal.
Yeah, because, you can sit there and say that you want this all day, but if you're still not making the actions or the changes of it, the first thing that I would start with is like, okay, why am I wanting to go to the gym? Am I wanting to go to the gym so I can impress my partners, or am I wanting to go to the gym because I authentically want to feel good in my body?
Right.
Looking at that why, and then if you, let's just say you have a why that you feel solid on and you're grounded on and stuff like that, then that's when I think that's when some real deep work comes in of looking at your programming.
Yes.
And your programming around, ages 1 through 7 up to 12 of, okay, maybe I eat food when I'm feeling extra stressed, and actually being honest and say, okay, where did that come from? When I was a kid, anytime I had a test, my mom brought me food, or anytime I had a very stressful situation, my mom gave me food to make me feel better. And so I'm trying to make myself feel better with this habit that's a self-sabotaging habit now. And so when they're not changing, taking a pause to reflect on what is the pattern that's actually happening and trying to break it down of where that came from and the belief that's driving it, so they can rewire and relook at like, okay, is that serving me? Is that getting me closer to my dream? And if not, how do you want it to go?